Manya gange wetaka sawa. Ekisinganyo okuddusa waka abazadde baffe basobola kubeera nnyo bakambwe nnyo. Bali basobola kubeera wabava kubaala nga batamide ne bakukuba. Baliwo bali ababa waka ne batolokayo. Naye bali ne babeerawo bali nabo abakola emisango ng'ejjaawo. Naye babeerawo bali abazadde bawe batagala okubawa emmere nabo ne batolokayo waka. Kati ekyo ekiviirako omwana okujja ku street. Ensome
nze maama wange yagenda Kenya, kati taata yagenda Kampala kukola. Kati ewaka kati nasigala nzeka.
Bali babeerawo aboogerera ekyenge kati ng'ono
kati ewaka ne bangobayo. Ewaka bangobayo anenzija mu tawuni.
Kati bagala kuddayo bakuzeeyo? Bakuzeeyo waka? Abaana bano balumbibwa nnyo endwadde. Katugeze ng'endwadde za buligita. Atamanyi buligita ajja kwebuuza buligita kyeki. Buligita gwe omwana okubeera n'omubiri nga guliko skin rashes paka eri mu bitundu ebyekyama.
Ekibuga Mbale byemu ku bibuga ebitunuliddwa ennyo era ebisuubirwa nti oba oliawo bye bisinga okubaamu abaana abangi ab'oku nguudo nga kumpi kiyisiza ne Kampala yali emanyiddwa ng'ekibuga ekisinga okubeeramu abaana ab'oku nguudo. So olunaku olwaleero abakungu ab'enjawulo okuva mu bitongole ebyobwannakyo eby'enjawulo ebirwanirira abaana b'oku nguudo bikuŋŋaanidde mu kibuga ky'e Mbale era nga bawayizaamukko ne bekikwatako mu kibuga kye kimu eky'e Mbale mu kutema empenda n'okulaba nti bawenja wano ne wali mu kulaba nti ensonga y'abaana ku nguudo oba oliawo esalirwa amagezi. Olunaku olwaleero nga bakulembeddwamu ekibiina kya Child Rescue Network Crane awamu n'ebitongole ebirala kati ng'Embale kya Crane n'ebitongole ebirala kosa n'Embale State Council awamu ne police bakuŋŋaanya olunaku olwaleero kosa ne Ministry w'ekikola ky'abantu abakozi n'enkulaakulana Ministry of Gender mu kulaba nga basala entoto ku biki ebirina okukolebwa okulaba nti ensonga y'abaana ku nguudo emalibwawo n'okuzuula oba oliawo okwogera n'okubaganyiza ku ebyo oba oliawo ebiviirako abaana okweyongera ku nguudo. Muzimu ku nsonga ezitunuuliddwa oba oliawo ezeyongera okuba nti ziviirako abaana okujja ku nguudo mwe muli ensonga y'obwavu, obusambattuko mu maka n'ensonga endala era nga mu kwogerako n'abaana batutegeezeza ku nsonga ezaabwe bo nga bo biki ebabaviirako okuva ewaka oba biki ebyo bye bagamba nti mu butuufu bye byabalemesa okubeera ewaka. So abakungu nabo basaze eggoye era nga bawenjeza ne wali mu kulaba nga bateekateeka ekibuga obulungi n'ebitundu ebirala ebiriko abaana b'oku nguudo mu kulaba nti abaana bano basobola okubudaabudibwa bulungi, abasobola okudda ewaka baddizibe waka, abatasobola kuddayo babe nga babayiyiza enteekateeka ey'enjawulo esobola obbakuuma nga tebafuuka babulabe eri eggwanga. Byonna entisikano nga weebadde ku Mbale State Council tugenda gikutuusako ku Masani Media.
From 1993 to date, there has been over a 70% increase of children coming to the streets. Have you heard that? Have you heard that? From 1993 to date, there's been over 70% increase of children living and working on the streets. This morning, this afternoon, we are here in Mbale City having a conversation that we have had each and every year since 2012. From 2012, every year we have had this conversation where we want government, we want communities, we want the cities, we want everybody to realize that we committed to leaving no child behind, including the children who are living and working on the streets. So from 2012, we've been having this conversation about this particular group of children who are living and working on the streets. And this afternoon, we're going to have a specific conversation because this year, at the international level, it was agreed that as organizations, we shall ensure that we have a conversation on the participation of children. It is a global phenomenon that child participation is important. In fact, the National Child's Policy, which is the government policy, Ministry of Gender, puts one of the key pillars of the implementation of the child policy as child participation. And if I say every child should participate, we should not exclude the children living and working on the streets. I also want to remind us and just point that in 2017, A general comment at the United Nations was given. A general comment, it's called General Comment 21 on children in street situations. And the summary of this comment is that the comment says that every child, that the Convention on the Rights of the Child recognizes that every child needs to be protected. And in a special way, they recognize the children living and working on the streets or the children in street situations. And this general comment goes ahead to give guidance to the government, to both the duty bearers and the non-duty bearers. The duty bearers, those being the state, the non-duty bearers being us in the civil society, in the communities. And they give us clarity on the role we need to play to ensure that every child, including these children, have a right to be protected and have a right to be planned for and have a right to develop, survive, promote their rights, and ensure that even when they're in the street situations, we do everything possible to ensure that these children are withdrawn, are taken through rehabilitation, are resettled at home. And even when they're on the streets, how do we make sure they access a service that will ensure that their life is not lost? We have lost too many children along the way. Joining me this afternoon to have this discussion that will lead us into a broader discussion and possibly come out with a headway, and we can have a report submitted to the PS and the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Let me just also clarify, although we're in Mbale City, this is our national conversation. Last year we were in Jinja, we had a conversation in Jinja. The previous years we have always been in Kampala. And we want to take this conversation to every city where we are seeing the phenomenon of children living and working on the streets increase.
Yenze Clinton. Nze nava mukono kuja Mbale. Mukono.
Wava mukono. Kye kyakujje mukono kujje.
Tewali.
Wajja buzi.
Yaje wange yafa nenvaayo.
Yaje yali akukoma. Kati eno obulamu obusanze otye bw'Embale?
Eno nze nali ku street, abasomesa basialawo ne banja ku street ne bantwala eyo naku zino kati mbeere. Bagenda kuntwala ku ssomero.
We wajja muno olunaku olwasooka obulamu bwali butya?
Wali bulungi.
Tebakutulugunyaako?
Aya naye ewaffe budadiri.
Yova
Yenviira.
Nze nagala kuddayo ewaka, banzizeyo ewaka nsome.
Nga nze ekyanzija waka. Nze navaayo bubi. Okujja okunyumira obulamu bwa street. Buliwo bwa waka sobola kubeera nga tebakuwa emmere oba nga bakukubiriza nnyo n'obyesanywa n'ovaayo. Manya nsigadde nga weta akasaamu. Nze kati nasalawo mbeera kusyalawo nsoma. Naye waka nzirayo, banzizaayo waka, nembeera nga maze ebibuuzo, nembeerako waka, okuddamu okusomero nenkomawo. Bwe tubeera ku street, batukuba nnyo emigo, oba obulwadde bubeerawo obutukwata. Ensekere wekulya nnyo, wetakula nnyo. Oba onywanya amafuta nga gakutwala nnyo, kati awo osobola kubeera nga totereera bulungi. Bwe tokwata bakukwatira.
Abalala batugoba abakazi abaganda babakata batugogereza kati natwe twaba kado tusaba na mutu sawa waka tunaga mogel na wo mama wala wala watu na wale wamama kwa sawa na ndio kwa sawa
ale zende tunuso kubasi na kukupa alinga mwangu ile iko basa alibalo na kukula vitabu nga mbole uli babupe kuna yeto bamona kulema babonile jamukulu.
My name is Muteshalwa once again. Right now I'm 19 years. My story begins when my father died in, actually I don't remember the year, but I was 4 years I think. And my mom was a business lady here at Upland Street, whereby she used to sell porridge in that car pathway, and due to some other issues whereby, like she was not able to pay for me fees as I was young, and I came, as she comes to town, I also come to town. I help her. Sometimes I go pick charcoal, I sell here at Central Market. And those teachers of CRO, there was a madam called Teacher Janet, she passed away. They came, they picked me, they took me to CRO in 2013. They rehabilitated me. In 2014, they took me to school, Navyonga Primary School. I started my primary level. And right now I'm in senior 4 at Nkoma Secondary School, still under their care.
Moderator, I want to thank everyone for this opportunity that you can hear us out, and you've taken the interest on the issue of children living on the streets. Me, I started at 13 years. I was in P6. Things became very difficult. I was born in a very good, wonderful family of a very rich dad and a mother who only stopped in senior 3. I think my father was so handsome and very long and energetic the way you see me. And he saw this wonderful girl in senior 3 who also admired him at that time. So things happened and I came in. But because of, I think, his decisions in life and his way of life, he got sick very quickly and died when I was in senior 4. He succumbed to HIV/AIDS and left us in the hands of this mother who only stopped in senior 3 to support us through life. So when life was hard for her, she tried to do away with us, but we survived. And when we survived, she decided to give us to our relatives. That is how I started staying with an auntie. I was in P6, very bright young man. So she told my mom, no, you give me the young man to come and study. I didn't know I was going to be, are they called house boys or nannies? These people who look after children. She had her children who had a house boy, yes. So I came excited to study, but on a sad note, I realized I had come to look after children, $3, because those people had produced home and they wanted someone to support them to look after their children as they went to do what they were supposed to do. So life became hard even there because complying was not easy, and the circumstances forced me to leave. So when I leave, there was nowhere else to stay apart from the streets. I had a friend who used to roast chicken somewhere down there, but I think he was also a street adult. After he realized he has grown and he needs something to do for himself, he decided to start roasting chicken. So he became my influence and motivation, and I found myself there. And there is a lady who I respect so much who visited us twice at the street. She's called Teacher Florence. That lady spoke to me one evening. We disappeared. We had a nature where we appear, but when we see someone with interest to talk to us, we disappear because we thought everyone was not good. And it became very difficult, but my turning point came one night when I survived a fire. These police officers came and they cornered us. They were clearing the street. So at Cathedral Avenue, there were flowers right from Cathedral Avenue up to the new market down there. So we had sacks and boxes where we would cover and sleep. And because those flowers had grown so well, and they had very good spaces for sleeping, and you feel the warmth there. So when these people came, we all ran and entered inside there. I remember the man saying, "Wakisa moto, put fire." I tell you, friends got burnt, others survived, we all ran, and it is at that point where I thought maybe I need something else. So when that lady came back, I told her, life is not good here. And she was asking, do you want to school? Do you want life to change? Where do you come from? And all those things. She took me on, and when they took me to school, I qualified for my P7. And that is how my journey with CRO started. So I was rehabilitated. It took a long time to even trace my home back, because when I had come to my auntie's place, they told me my mother had died of HIV and all those things, the same sickness that killed your father. So actually, I never thought anything would happen. We were born 3, we separated mysteriously. I didn't know where my brother was. I didn't know where my sister was. But in 2003, my mother appeared. It was very hard, very difficult, a very big surprise, but she was still alive. So CRO supported us with her at that point in time. I did my senior 4, I did my senior 6. They took me to university. I have done a second degree, a master's. I have been at UMY. But my decision to be a priest, I wanted to be a soldier actually. I was very, very, very passionate about being a soldier, because I really wanted to change the way these people think about us. Because they will sit and take actions, clear or do this, but no one has got time to understand the other life of that child. And who knows tomorrow? Today you're here. My father was a chief clerk. They can be like the cows of today now, with a soldier, with a double cabin and everything. But we don't know tomorrow. So I was able to go through school, and when I had finished my first degree, we were 7. They called an opportunity for people to go to the army. I also went. I did all the necessary drills until the time for the medical checkup. And that is how I was thrown out. Because when I was on the street there, I have a colleague who boxed me badly, and I developed a problem with my tooth, and they removed it. So the man said, "Fungua mudomo." When I opened, my dental formula could not add up. That is how I gave up the dream for being a military man.
So you missed being an army man?
I missed, yeah, I would be having ranks now, but it is well, because maybe this is where God wanted me. One special thing about CRO was, you know, they will start from that part where you matter. You know, you're on the street, but someone is telling you, hey, you matter. You're a special person. You can do this. Don't worry. Those things have happened, but you can do this. There are people who came to talk to us. I saw Wilson Bugembe when I was in senior 2. His story was so inspirational to me. They brought him to our project there. And being in senior 2 and looking at this guy who has also been at the street, he's now becoming this prominent person. Wow. We had days when, like on such a day, they'll bring an officer to say hello to a probation officer. You know, these people became our motivation to become who we are. but most of it, they really helped our spiritual element because, you know, we are wounded, we are hurt, we have scars and so many things. We have hated many people. I fell in love with this institution recently. And sometimes I feel hurt when I hear there is a letter that they are coming to clean the streets. Do you know how they clean the street? It is a sad story. And I think today, even as we discuss children, I think we need to change some policies and the way we are going to work. I wish Mr. Shafiq was here. I hope, where is he? Thank you very much, Papa. That man fought for this project because we wrote. It had gone. Even the district people didn't want to know about it. You know, there are some organizations that work but not on camera. Like you will not see them on WhatsApp, Instagram and all, but they are doing very, very good work silently. So these people thought it is just a dilapidated place without. And by the way, we have soldiers, we have police officers, we have people in the prisons, we have different qualifications. And when trouble came, we came in to do that. I have two things before you ask your question. One, when they touched us even spiritually, it informed me in a way that even when I had qualified, I'm a lecturer at Uganda Christian University.
If they had that, they would have acted upon that.
Don't worry. Sometimes when we hear so much, some things work afterwards. And when I got my first degree in project planning and entrepreneurship, I worked so well. Many organizations took me up. I've been a PR, but when I would do my work, I would also inform them spiritually. And one of the people who recommended my theological education died in COVID because she was my boss. We told her, remain in Uganda, we may survive. She said, no, we have to go back to the US. I said, well, it's okay. We survived, but unfortunately, COVID went with her. So I joined ministry. I perform very well, and today I'm also a priest in the province of the Church of Uganda. From the streets to the pulpit, from the streets to the lecture room, and from the streets to the city hall to talk to these big people here today.
Okusokera ddala gange nze John Muganda nga ndiwo okwogerera abaana b'okunguudo n'obbabudaabuda. Challenges etuzze tulaba ezijja abaana baneeka obwenkanya tebuliiwo mu famire. Ng'ebiseera ebisinga okwawukana mu maka kye bayita divorce. Kuba ennamba esinga obungi abaana be tulina bazadde baabwe baayawukana. Ekirala abaana bano tebamanyiddwako bakitaabwe nga bakulidde bukojja. Ekirala waliwo famire z'otuukamu abaana bano mwe bava nga n'abazadde bennyini beetaaga kuyamba. Okitegedde? N'ekirala nti abaana bano mukadde we bajjira awulira nga yandiyagadde addeyo eka. Mu wiiki eyo yennyini kuba obulamu alaba nga takola ki? Tabusobola, naye lwakuba nti tewali kye bayita oba rehabilitation ssaawa eno gy'aba alina ossookeramu mukadde ako n'aba nga ayanirizibwa. Okitegedde? N'ekirala abantu ennaku zino ebyenfuna abaana bano bagenda ne baviirwako bakadde baabwe nga balina bye babalekera, naye ate bano ne batandika obbalowoleza mu byenfuna ate omwana ye kyatali, so nabo bakoze kyamaanyi nnyo. Ekirala bajjajja nabo mu kusosola mu bazzukulu, osanga maama ng'ayagala bazzukulu b'omwana omuwala naye nga bazzukulu b'omwana omulenzi tabeetaaga. N'ekirala poverty. Okitegedde? Poverty. So zezo challenge ezisinga okuleeta abaana bano ku nguudo. Ekyandikoleddwa okendeeza omujjuzo gw'abaana ku nguudo mwetagamu omukono gwa gavumenti, because nze mmanyi nti gavumenti kye kitongole ekitalemererwa, nti okuvaayo kikkirize ebitongole ebirala ebyagala okuyamba babiwandiise. Waliyo abantu abaagala okuyamba naye nga tebamanyi watuufu wakukola ki, wakutandikira. So nti nze nsaba gavumenti eweeyo, because erina obusobozi. Bano abaana abasinga balina talenti ya mikono bitone naye nga abasinga tebali interested kusoma, naye nga basobola skills nga ate balina ebitone.
Amanya gange bampita Muwanguzi Samuel. Ekindeese wano ngene mas ziremu manya gange bapita Muwanguzi Samuel nga nkola n'ekitongole kye bayita Benjamin House Ministries kiri Kampala. Basically tujja abaana ku street ne tubatwala ne basoma ebyemikono. Tubamaliza osoma ebyemikono ne tukola family restoration okufollowing abaana bavaawa. So tuzze tulaba ebbanga ddene abaana abasinga betujja ku street bava e Mbale ne twebuuza lwaki. So okugenda okufininga out nti Mbale nti bitongole bitono ebiyamba abaana okubajja ku street nti abaana abasinga baddukira Kampala okufuna obuyambi nti so kino ensonga lwaki twavaayo eneteekateeka ebeerayo buli mwaka omwezi ogwokuna okubeera nga last year twali Jinja ne tu celebrate nga luno olunaku era ne tubaako abaana betuyamba. So kino kiyongera okubeera nga tu increasinga n'oku-inspiringa abalala kumanya nti tuyambe abaana basoove ku street. Ebisinga obbanyiga stories nyingi kati story emu gye nsobola okuwaako nti wali omwana eyamba story nti maama we taata we bwe yafa nga bapangisa ne babagoba mu nnyumba kati ng'asula ku lubalaza ne maama we kati abasajja nga bakozesa maama we n'adduka ewaka ku lw'ensonga eyo nga tayagala kubeera nga alaba ekigenda mu maaso kye bakola maama we. So naga nti okusinga okubeera nga nyinza okukola ekintu ekikyamu kanziruke waka nti nekirala ba step mothers abasajja abasinga era nze ndi musajja w'Embale kino nkivumirira abasajja abasinga Embale basusiza okuwasa abakazi abangi tenga tebalina busobozi bwa kulabirira abaana baabwe ne bamaliza nga bali ku street. So bataata mwena abali mumanye omwana gozaala ogenda so omulabirira okusinga okumuleka ajja abonabonere ku street kati omwana ngono mwana muto myaka 5 myaka 6 ali ku street abonerera. So ekyo mbadde mbasaba abazadde mufeeyo eri baana bammwe kubanga mubazaala nga tukimanyi nti musobola obbalabirira.
People tend to misunderstand the responsibilities of urban authorities upon children in the street. But my brother, the principal officer, has brought it clearly. What do I add there? Nothing to add. The only thing I want to add is partners. You have worked with, let me say, I don't know, I've been in Kampala, commanded in Kampala about 29, 10, 11. I want to believe that children in Mbale, they are more than Kampala. Kampala these days when I go, I don't see this number of children in the street, which is in Mbale, in Kampala. I don't see them in Kampala. They are here in Mbale. And when I want to ask again, these children in Mbale Street, do they also come from Napak? In the other way around, if we are to round like somebody said, police like rounding, are we going to round these children and take to Napak and we believe they will stay in Napak? No, it's a definite no, because I'm one person who has interacted with these children in our street here. My hand is handcuffed. I cannot round them, because if I round them, minutes after, the first thing is I have to look for food to feed them. The second thing is I have to look for medical, clothing, shelter. And these are responsibilities of my Lord Mayor here. That we should really provide efforts together and see that these children are off street. Like somebody said, they desire to be off street, but I think condition make them persistent in the street. I love to see them off street. I have seen, Reverend said, police, somebody, Wakamoto. The Reverend was just imagining, by that time, he was imagining there's somebody lighting fire because of the chest of police. I believe nothing happened like lighting fire, because if one child was burned, that information would be circulating even after today. I don't want to be certain about that, but I try to imagine there's no police officer who would light fire to burn a human being. Our cardinal mandate to protect life and property, we can't really go against. You would not be in uniform. would be doing something so contrary. So please, I want you to believe with me, partners, that the responsibility of urban authority ministry should look into and come in handy. Deliberately design and rescue urban authorities about matters of street kids. Their capacity to handle, let's agree, it is not there. And therefore, if we stick to the mandate, the laws that the urban authorities, the local government are mandated to do this, we shall not see it unless the ministry comes in with a better design, program, and policies to address this challenge. As a security officer, I'm an enforcement officer. Enforcement officer. When you talk of enforcement, quite different. My method of work is quite different from CRO. Because the reverend who is running away from the CRO is willing to help. A police officer will run after you. But CRO will provide food that you come. Will provide play material so that you are attracted. And in that, there are those who comes again. It's like a pull factor. There are those who will come with a colleague. The colleague will end up the other side, but this one will eat and go back to the street. We need to look into this. I cannot run after them, because even if I run after them, where will I take them? We all need deliberate efforts, plans to make sure that we rescue. I was telling you, as a security officer, I see a challenge of keeping law and order today, tomorrow, and in the next generation. They have grown. They have become adult. We have got children of these people who have grown from the street. We have got even the Mbale now has grandchildren as a product of people who grow up in the street. Security-wise, am I going to keep that law and order? When you know very well, to keep law and order, you're part and parcel. Protect yourself before a police officer protects you. Our numbers are few. The children in the street may outnumber us. What do? Let's find the best way of addressing this, and then we shall rescue our Mbale City. Somebody talked about, I think my sister there, putting resources together so that we see where you can, resources, I mean both physical resources, the plans. If you have something you can share with the city, how do we get out of this? Please don't sit there. Let's do it together and we get out of this. Let's put resources together, experiences together. If you talk of experiences, the person from the ministry knows everything about children living in the street. The only thing is the will and resources to address. If the resources are not there, how do we source to make sure that we get out of this kind of situation? I want to request the partners, as you come up with the good plans, you can offer food to a child. Let us offer education as the food for tomorrow to our children. Let whatever you do, education should be integral part of all the activities. And for me, my brother from the ministry, if you see one who is coming with that kind of element, fronting this and anchored also education there, please give a tick and let them go ahead. Educate these children. And that is why we have been able to see the Reverend. We have been able to see my sister here. Reverend, I want to call upon you that where the resources does not allow, if you would organize children from the street, let these people help you. Organize these children from the street. One day, maybe we provide them lunch and water. One day, I'll not put on uniform. And you'll be the guest. Invite other person like her. Let her leave the job and come. We talk to them. If there are 200, we may change the life of 10. Please, let's do this. And that is where I'm ending.
As government and partners, we can be able to continue working together well. Mr. Butanda, I thank you for recognizing us partners as very important in your strategy to work with children in general. Not only children connected to the street, but children in general, because our hearts are for those children. We pray, we ask for forgiveness where we step on toes that we're not supposed to stay on, or we say things that we're not supposed to say. But as you say, when we come for guidance, you give it to us. I want to explain that when our heart for not celebrating, commemorating, remembering that we have children on the street, which is a fact, and which we cannot hide, and those children need to be taken care of. We work with organizations internationally, and one of those is one that is leading the day on the children connected to the street. And that organization is also fighting to have those children recognized. Not as children on the street, but children who are in their situations that they cannot help for themselves. And the governments have got to face the fact that they're on the street. And it's not a matter of just removing them, but a matter of understanding, as our town clerk representative said, that there is a reason why they come to the street. And they come to the street because their parents don't care, or they're too poor to look after them, so they send 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds to go and earn a living on the street. And eventually, as teenagers, because they're not fed, they're not in school, they're not looked after, they come to the street and decide they have their lives on the street. Children on the street are children. And if rehabilitated, as some of the organizations are doing here, they can turn into important citizens of our country. And therefore, government, we pray, can turn an eye and the finances of the government that we normally search for and beg for and ask that government gives to the budgets that the districts have made as this decentralization, so that children are looked after, both in education, on the street, in social circumstances that are not of their own making. Can government do that? We know we can make budgets. We can ask our donors, the donors who have decided to also retrieve their money and use it in their own countries. So we have challenges in that situation, that we are also now searching for money we can't find. What is our government doing? We know that we pay taxes, but where does the money go? Majorly to political issues, to security. If our children are not looked after, they become a security issue. And therefore, government needs to think about that. If the children are not looked after, they will not be responsible children in the future. And therefore, you'll be thinking about Uganda that has more than half of their population as children, and a country that is not regulated well because we have children who were not invested in. We have a children on the street, or children connected to the street working group, which works with both from Kampala, Jinja, Iganga, Mbale, Karamoja, because we know that a larger part of the children on the street might be from Karamoja, they're trafficked. But here in Mbale, I've recognized that most of the children here are not Karamojong. Most of them are your own children here. So what has happened? Those are some of the questions we'll ask to understand so that we can work together better. Why are children on the street? Why do we have, today in the morning, we were looking for something to eat and we found a lot of children sleeping on verandas. We're like, goodness me. Mbale has a stronger group of children on the street, or a bigger group of children on the street than I can even, in Kampala, I haven't seen that sort of number, even in Kampala. So why is that happening? Can we find out through our dialogue? We have different organizations that are here and we meet often and talk about how do we help government to sort out the problem on the street, because the problem is not for only children on the, for organizations that work with children on the street, but for government who we want to partner with. And we ask for that audience to partner with you, for the audience to listen to one another, and for the audience not to be misunderstood. Thank you, Mbale City, for welcoming us. Thank you, Mr. Dominic, for the hard work you've done in making sure that we're in this place. We know that some of the people that were called have not been able to come, but we hope that you who are here are a good representative for us to be able to work together. We do thank especially the...
As a local government, you are in charge of the care and protection of the children in that local government. You are in charge of the children who are on the streets in Mbale. The local government act still decentralized the powers to plan, the powers to budget, the powers to spend, and the powers to provide the services to the people in your local government. It's your responsibility as the city of Mbale. It's your responsibility as Mbale district to provide the services to all the children in the two local governments. When we say street children, who is responsible? To me, I say, as the parents who are here, we are responsible for that. Because of the freedom we have in this country, anybody who cannot afford a child can afford to pregnant a woman and produce a child. And at the end of the day, run away from that child. It's okay, it's your right to produce, but are you ready for the consequences? Are you ready to take over your responsibilities as a parent? We are what we are, and we are seated here today because our parents played their roles. If we continue with what we are seeing on the streets of Mbale and other towns, then just be sure that we are going to have sleepless nights. We came up with guidelines on how to strengthen families. I want to request that when these guidelines are disseminated, please let's make use of them so that we strengthen families. Government of Uganda promotes public and private partnership. And under that partnership, we have been able to handle this work. It's because of this partnership that we have crane, we have dwelling places here, we have salve, and other partners. And I want to appeal to my colleagues in Mbale City and the district that when you see a partner coming on board, please welcome that partner. As Minister, we receive resources from Minister of Finance, but those resources are not enough. The resources are supplemented by these partners. Some of them, I'm seeing my other good friend here from both ends briefing, they are supporting us to handle children in children's homes. If these partners were not there, you will see Minister of Gender limping. So can we clap for these partners? I want to request my fellow civil servants, whenever you say partner, please treat that partner as a partner. Don't be like a colleague I worked with in a local government some years ago who was witch hunting partners for his own reasons. Partners move hand in hand. Partners work together. Partners plan together, and partners implement and evaluate things together.